Good afternoon, students. This is Miss Walker, and I'm going to be your radio DJ for this afternoon. No, I'm just kidding. However, I will be your math teacher this year. Lucky you. And if I am not your math teacher, and for some reason you are watching this video, I hope that I can provide as much entertainment as your current teacher probably does. So in this video, I am going to talk to y'all about how we are going to take notes in our class. Math is a subject that builds upon itself, and there's a lot of new information that we learn all the time. And so it's really important to record this information so we can go back and reference it. And part of the reason why we are going to be learning through videos this year is so that way, if we are confused or if we need to just listen to something again, we have an actual recording of what we are learning to go back and reference. In the description bar, you will see a link to a video that I made that kind of goes over all the benefits to learning with an instructional video such as this one versus a live in-person lesson that we do in class for, like, I'm up at the dot cam modeling stuff. Now, that's not to say we won't have any kind of lessons like that in class during the school year. However, we will mainly be using these videos as the primary tool to learn because they provide a lot more benefits than the alternative of a live in-person class. So in this video, I am going to talk to y'all about how important it is to take good notes while you are watching instructional videos. And I'm also going to talk about how our notebook pages are going to be set up. So in class, we've talked about how at the front of your notebook, you have a table of contents, okay? And if you didn't hear that part in class, or if we didn't talk about it too much, the start of your notebook, you're gonna have a couple of pages dedicated to your table of contents. And this is going to be where you will put the title of, whatever it is we're working on, and the page number in your notebook that it is located on. So if you haven't done so, you might want to take a moment to pause this video to give yourself a couple pages at the start for your table of contents. And I would go through and number your notebook pages as well, maybe just in the top corner. We are going to use the front and back of our notebook pages, so make sure you number both sides of the page. However, if you already have that set up, or if it is already set up now, let's talk about how a typical notes page is going to look. So when you're assigned a video to watch for your lesson, you are going to kind of have two pages that you're going to work with. You're going to work with your page to the right, which if you look at this page here, this is the page to the right in the notebook. And this is kind of like what we think of as like the primary page in our notes. This is going to be the page with all of your notes for whatever topic it is that we're covering. So example problems, definitions, so forth. The page to the left, which I'll show y'all a little bit later in this video, this is going to be where at the end of the video, I'm going to give you practice questions. So some questions to try that cover what we just did in the lesson. That's where you're going to put those practice questions and where you're going to answer them. And this is also going to be a space too, the page to the left, where you put any personal questions you have. So if you have any questions that come up while you're working on a practice question or while you're watching the video, and if it doesn't get answered in the video, if it's a question you need to bring to me in class, you can record it in your notebook and either ask me or maybe ask, a friend that you have in class to get clarification, okay? Here's how we're going to take notes with instructional videos, okay? It's a step-by-step process. And for some of you, it's going to seem very tedious and maybe a little unnecessary at first, but I encourage you as we kind of go throughout the year and our math builds upon itself and we dive into some pre-algebra, algebra, and even high school concepts, it's really important that you follow this process, okay? So the first thing you're gonna do when you're assigned a video to watch is you are gonna update your table of contents from our Google Doc. So there will be a Google Doc where the links to all the videos will be housed. It will have the title of the videos, which is also the same thing as the title of your notes. It's gonna have the date that you're assigned to, have to complete that video. And it's also going to be the spot where I put the answers to the practice questions that I mentioned up above. So the first thing you're going to do is in your notebook table of contents, so that page I showed you a couple moments ago, that is where you're going to put the title of the video, as well as whatever page it's on in your notebook, okay? So for example, the title of this in your table of contents would be how to take good notes, and then whatever page it's on in your notebook. So in mine, it's technically page 3, but your notebook might be different. Your table of contents is a part of your notebook grade, so it's really important that you update it. I do not care if it doesn't match mine. What I mean by that is, like, if you take your notes on page 5 and I took my notes on page 7, I don't care about that, but I do care that you're kind of keeping a list of all of the notes that we've taken, so that way you have a point to reference them. Once you've updated your table of contents, you're going to kind of start watching the video lesson, but I would encourage you to watch it once through without writing anything down. Okay, so sit back, relax, enjoy the soothing sound of my voice as I explain all of these math concepts to you. And then once you've watched it once, the second time you're going to go watch it, and that's when I want you to take notes. Okay, this is because when we try to write stuff down the first time we're hearing it, a lot of times we can miss what's being said by our teacher or by whoever's talking to us. So if you just watch the video once without writing anything down, you'll kind of get the gist of what is being covered. And then the second time, you'll be able to kind of focus on writing down the material and not missing anything that's being said by the narrator or me or whoever is talking. So you're going to end up watching each video twice. Okay. Now, if it's something that you feel like you already understand, when you watch the video once without writing everything down, if you want to increase the speed of the video so you can kind of just see a little bit quicker about what it is, or if you're like, I'm pretty sure I know this already, if you kind of like fast forward it and kind of see what I'm writing down and you're catching on pretty quickly to what I'm saying, you can speed up the first watch of the video if that's something that you feel is fine for you. But the second time you watch the video, when you do actually take your notes, I would have it at regular speed, and you can pause the video if needed. I will always try to tell you moments when to pause if I, want you to write something down before I start going over it. But if you notice, like, you're still writing something up at the top of the page and I'm all the way down at the bottom of the page, you can pause the video and kind of catch up with what you need to write down. And this is, again, another benefit of using a video instead of having it in person in class, because then you don't have to uncomfortably ask me to slow down. If that's something that makes you feel weird, you just have the option to pause the video and catch up on your own, which is pretty cool. So once you've watched the video twice and you've taken your notes, the next thing you're going to do is not close your notebook and just walk away from it. I actually want you to look over what you just wrote. So read or skim your notes. Read what you just wrote down and ask yourself, do I understand, or does this make sense? And if the answer is no, maybe go back and watch the video for a third time. If the answer is, yeah, I get it for the most part, or yeah, I understand it, it's fine, then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to attempt the practice questions. So let me move this down so you can see. So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to try the practice problems. So at the end of the video, I will show you the practice problems that I want you to try. You will pause the video and write them down. It'll be on the left side of your notebook. And then you're going to practice what we just learned by doing the problems. The practice problems are a part of your notebook grade. You're not going to rip them out and turn them in. However, when I check your notebooks, I will be checking to see that you have been attempting the practice problems. If you notice that you are getting stuck while you work on the practice problems, I encourage you to either go look through your notes or go back and watch either the entire video or maybe the part of the video where you realize you're getting stuck. Like, oh, I'm getting stuck with this kind of problem. Let me go watch that part of the video again. Once you've done the practice problems, you can check your answers for them in the table of contents document. So the document where you got the link to the video and the title of the video, that is where the answers will be posted. I encourage you to try the problems first before going and looking at the answer. Sometimes if you get stuck on a problem, if you go look at the answer, you can kind of deduce what the mistake was that you made. Like, oh, I put the decimal in the wrong spot, I forgot a negative, and so forth. But try to wait and check the answers at the very end. Practice the problem to make sure you understand, and then check your work with the answers in the table of contents document. And then the last step is if you have any lingering questions, so something that you may have thought of while you watch the video or while you did the practice problems. If it didn't get answered in the video, write those questions down. Again, it's going to be on the page to the left, which I'll show you here in a minute. And you can ask those questions to either your teacher, so me, or maybe somebody in your table group that you think could answer the question. And that way you don't forget whatever question or clarification you needed. It's written down in your notebook and you can quickly find it, the following class period. So before I kind of show you what the practice page looks like, let's go over just a couple of tips, okay? So just 3 quick tips that might be helpful when you take notes using a video. So the first thing is, please make sure you take the time to write neatly, okay? It's gonna be a lot easier for you in the long run if you take the time to make sure you're writing down your work, your problems, your definitions, whatever it is, legibly and neatly. So when you go back and refer to your notes for a project, when you're studying for a test, and so forth, that it's easy for you to read. Okay. I am not going to be sympathetic if you come to me and you show me your notebook and it looks like you just kind of rushed and scribbled everything down and you're asking me to kind of show you what's supposed to be on the page. Okay. Take the time to write neatly. For most of you, this is probably no big deal, but for those of you that kind of like to rush and just get things done, please take the time to make sure that your notes are legible, okay? The other 2 tips are pretty basic. I would encourage you to use headphones if you can while you watch your videos. It cancels out the distraction of the world around us. So if you're trying to do your notes, in between soccer practice and karate practice, and you're like in your mom's car or, somewhere random where it could be loud, using headphones can really help drown out any sort of distractions. If you're at a house and you have a little sister who is just always annoying you, right? You can put on the headphones and kind of drown out her singing to Billie Eilish or whatever fan, your sibling is, okay? And then the last thing is use closed captioning or subtitles. Every video should have closed captioning or subtitles. If you think that would be good for you because, maybe something that I said out loud doesn't seem to match what I wrote down, subtitles may kind of help clarify any of those confusions, okay? So if this is your second time watching this video, I am gonna kind of show you briefly the top and bottom half of the page, and you can pause and make sure you have everything written down, or go ahead and write everything down that was just covered. And then I'm going to flip over to the other side so you can copy the back. So here's the top half. So go ahead and take a moment and pause the video to make sure you have this top half down. All right, and here is the bottom half. Here is the bottom half. Go ahead and pause and get that written down. Okay, so the last thing I want to show you is what the left side of the page looks like. So the top part of the page, and if you want, you can pause real quick and kind of copy down what you see. Yeah, you can copy down what you see. Just go ahead if you need to. All right, so the top part is where you're going to put any of those personal questions that you have. So questions that you need to ask because you just didn't understand or it wasn't clarified in the video. And then mostly like the bottom part of the page, honestly, it's kind of like, I would say like 2/3 of the page is where you're going to put practice questions. So I typically do about 3. It could be potentially 4 or 5, depending on what we're doing, but it's always going to be about 3 practice questions. And I would like for you to make sure you write down the entire question, okay? Even if it's a word problem and there's like 2 or 3 sentences as part of the practice question, please write the whole thing down. I know it is annoying and I know it is tedious, and most of the time it's unnecessary. But if you want to refer back to your notes and you want to make sure you understand the material by maybe attempting the practice questions again, write down the whole thing, because if you don't, you're going to have to pull up the video and go make sure, like, what was this question even about? I didn't write it down. How did I get this as an answer? So if you write down the whole question, you can easily see, where the work and answers came from when you took your notes. Okay. So these are just tips and tricks and things that I'm going to encourage you and ask you to do while you take notes in our class. If this was your first time watching the video, please make sure you go back and watch it again, and you can make sure you write down kind of what is on this page as I'm saying it, or you can kind of fast forward to the end where I have the sections where you pause and write stuff down. And I look forward to seeing y'all in class, and I look forward to these videos that we're going to be doing this year. Everybody have an awesome day.